Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. R.T. Richards, and I will be your professor for the rest of this semester. And I wanted to take the time to introduce myself to you and to just welcome you to the course. It's an exciting course, writing intensive, but very exciting. And I'm happy you are joining me for us to work together for the rest of the semester. We're going to find that we learn a lot together, we explore a lot together, and we create a lot together. Technical writing involves uh, different genres of writing. We'll be writing blogs, we'll be writing wikis, we'll be writing instructional manuals, memos, expanded definition essays. We'll be writing proposals. We'll be writing summaries, which the summary essay is actually your first major writing assignment, which we begin this week. So there's a lot that we'll be going through, a lot that you'll be learning, and new things that you will be exploring. So welcome to the course. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Jamaica, and I am a lifelong educator whose research centers on leadership and its intersections with student success, diversity, equity, and inclusion. My research also extends itself to mentorship, different types of mentorship, and I'm particularly interested in research mentorship and how it helps to develop leadership skills. So that's the introduction. The lecture today, this lecture is going to be in four parts. The introduction, which I just did, and then we're going to be looking at how to navigate the course. And then we will be looking at the syllabus. And finally, we will look at this week's, last week's assignments and what needed to be done. This week's assignment will be done in the following lecture. Okay, so let's get into the course itself. Let's get into navigating Brightspace. So as you can see, this is your course home screen. And at the top of your screen, you'll have a couple of tabs. You have course home, content, assignments, quizzes, discussion, class lists, grades, class progress, course tools. In the window itself, you have four tiles: Meet Your Professor, Weekly Coursework, Writing Criteria, City Tech Library. To the right of these tiles, you have the announcements. And from time to time, I will be sending you announcements. Incidentally, even though I had sent the announcement that all the links were fixed, it turned out afterward that links were not actually fixed. Anyway, I went in and I repaired those links, replaced them actually, so they're all good to go. I tested them in student views. So the links are all good to go. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a calendar of assignments that you have to complete. The dates are there. And if you just click on the calendar, it will show you what you need to complete. Likewise, if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see where you have Meet Your Professor here. I'm supposed to put an introduction right here, but the introduction is actually in the course shell. So the question now is, how do we get into the course to where to do the work that we are supposed to do? How do we get to our weekly assignments? Well, there are two ways, main ways to do that. You can click on either one of these tiles, preferably the weekly coursework, which takes you directly to the weekly coursework. Meet Your Professor takes you to Meet Your Professor. Uh, Writing Criteria takes you to the writing criteria, and of course City Tech to the City Tech Library. But they all take you into the course. To get a broad overview of the course, you can click on content. It also takes you into the course itself where your assignments are. So we're going to click on content and see what we have there. So when we click on content, it takes us to table of content. And if you notice, table of content below that, you'll see the welcome, the syllabus and schedule, City Tech student self-service password reset. And if you scroll down, it'll take you on a week by week walk through the course and to the writing criteria. Likewise, on the left-hand side, you will see that there is a bar that has a few tabs, a few links, and if you click on them, one, the table of content, of course. Two, you have Meet Your Professor. Three, your weekly coursework. That's the work that you actually do. And then writing criteria and City Tech Library. Your writing criteria informs you of how you are to write. It is a guide of about, it's a guide of the standards of writing that's expected in this course. And once you read through it regularly, you'll find that your writing improves. The City Tech Library is where we'll find our articles that we need to use within this course. So I look forward to you using it quite regularly. So what we're going to do right now is click on weekly coursework. If we click on weekly coursework, you'll see in the left-hand panel there, uh, week one, and you'll also see week two. This course is based on a weekly module. So every week I release a new module, and each module is dated and is for that specific week. So week one was last week, and that was January 27 to February 2nd. Week two, which is this week, began today and ends on February 9th. So it began on February 3rd, ends on February 9th. To get into your weeks, you simply click on each week. So if, for example, if I wanted to get into week one, I'd just click on week one, and there we'd find week one. I could have also scrolled down, but you would have seen week one and week two. Right now, all we're seeing is week one. Now, once you open your weekly module, at the top, there will be an introduction as to what you need to be doing or what you will be accomplishing during the week. So at the end of the week, you'll be able to, you would have introduced yourself. It's all about introduction. At the end of the week, you'll review the writing criteria. You'll participate in the introductory lecture. You'll complete the required readings. Then you'll send me an introductory email, and finally you'll complete the discussion board by the 2nd of the 2nd, 11:59. Well, I did give you more time than that. You had to complete the discussion board by this. Well, it was right, the 2nd of the 2nd, 11:59. So, and that was yesterday, Sunday. Now, once you go into the week, you'll see everything that you have to do. You've read the introduction. If you scroll down, you'll see what you need to do, what assignments are there. So your first assignment is to send an introductory email to your professor, and you see where the date was due right under it. And it asks a question if you ever want, there's an introduction here, ever wondered if there's a correct way to write an email to your professor? I know many of you wondered that. And it invites you to click on this section to open this section. So we're just going to click on the link there, and we've opened it. And there you found all of your articles. All you have to do now is click on the links, and it should take you, well, the links are working. Let me make sure that they're working right now. Yep, the links are working. All you have to do is click on them, and they should take you exactly where you need to go. All right. So then, let's get back to what we were doing. Um, so we were navigating the course, and that's your first writing assignment. Then you have a couple of reading that you had to do. In your first writing assignment, you had to do some reading in there. Then you also had to read what is technical writing. And if I clicked on what is technical writing, there are three articles here, two articles that you have to read. What is technical communication? A brief history of technical communication. You click on those. Once you've read them, then you would go back to complete your discussion board. And of course, you access your discussion board by simply hitting uh, discussion board, and it takes you to the discussion board that you need to uh, enter your thread. You click on the introductions, discussion board. The screen comes up and you simply start a new thread. So that's how we navigate our course. So that was quick and easy. I'm certain, based on everybody having done the discussion board already, you understand how to do this. So I'm not very worried about that. Thank you for getting the work done last week. Now, I want to take some time to go through our syllabus. So let's get into looking at our syllabus. So if we click on weekly coursework, we can find the syllabus and schedule there. So if I hit syllabus and schedule, this is the screen that comes up. And there's the link to our syllabus and schedule. When I click on that link, this screen opens up. And that's the screen of my syllabus and schedule. Now I can expand, I can enlarge in this screen, or I can expand the screen by clicking on the View Content in New Window button. So if I click on that button, it opens up the screen in a new window, and all I have to do is click the the link for the syllabus, and you're able to open it up. And this allows you to zoom in a little bit more. So let's zoom in a little more so you can see the screen. So, of course, at the top of the course of the syllabus, you have the information about the course. You have my name, you have my office hours, and my office hours are by appointment. So all you have to do is send me an email and schedule your time, and we can meet. And then there's a table of content for the syllabus. And the table of content is dynamic, so you can click on wherever you need to go. So let's start at the beginning, a course description. So the syllabus has a course description, which I want to go over with you in a couple of minutes, but let's just go through the syllabus a little bit more. There are course learning objectives in the syllabus. These are live links. If you click on them, you'll be able to review the course learning objectives. And then if you scroll down, we have the heading required readings and textbooks and resources. If you scroll down, you can see what are the required readings. The first one, subheading, is free required textbooks. Now, these are free and they are all available online. I provided the links for you. The main textbook that we will be using will be David McCurry's Online Technical Writing. And of course, there are others. You can read through the syllabus to see them. Technical and professional writing journals, a study in theory and practice, and there are others. So I advise you to go into the syllabus, start reviewing these books because we will be using them throughout the semester. And of course, there are required readings. So those were the textbooks. Now we have required readings, and they're all in the syllabus. Everything is free. All you have to do is click the links and you'll get to this course. Now, this course, all our writing is done in APA format, and we'll be learning a little bit about this. Certainly, the information you'll have on this won't be exhaustive, but you will certainly get an excellent introduction to APA writing if you have not. There's the APA style link. You'll be able to review that whenever you want. Of course, required resources are computer access, and you want the relevant software. You want to be able to navigate Brightspace um, whenever you need to. All right, so now our course, this course is uh, whether your course is online, completely asynchronous, or your course is in person or hybrid, all the work in the course is done online. All your work is done in one of two places. 90% of the course is done in Brightspace, and the final 3 weeks of the course is done in Open Lab. And it's not even the 3 weeks, just 1 week out of the final 3 weeks. You'll be doing a three-section or three-part collaborative final project. And a part of that is done in Open Lab. Now, for this course, normally you are given a weekly discussion board and a writing assignment. The discussion board is normally due either on Wednesday night at 11:59 or Thursday night at 11:59. And the other writing assignment, one or two writing assignments, will be due at the end of the week, which are academic week finishes on Sunday night at 11:59, and that's when your writing assignment would be due. As I said, Brightspace is your LMS or learning management system, and everything is done entirely in Brightspace. So all your assignments are submitted in Brightspace. I do not accept emailed assignments. There's no real way to track them, and I do your grading in Brightspace so you can get your receive your grades in a timely manner. So all your assignments are submitted in Brightspace to the links that are provided. So let's go down a little bit to see the grading system. Well, of course, you have four main sections in the course. You have assignments, you have a final project, and you have discussions. And the assignments are 40% of the course. The final project is 30% of the course, and discussions are 20% of the course. So I like to say to my students, there's only there's really, sorry, I left out one, class participation. So there are four sections. Class participation is one. So that's assignments, 40%, final project, 30%, discussions, 20%, and class participation, 10%. Now, I like to say to my students that there are only 3 ways for you to fail the course. 3 ways. And the first way is one, to not do the work. If you don't do the work, I'll have nothing to grade. And if you have nothing to grade, then you can't get a grade, and that means that you'll fail the course. So your first way to fail the course is to not do the work. The second way to fail the course is to, you guessed it, not do the work. If you don't do the work, I won't have anything to grade. If you do the work and you get an A, that's fantastic. If you do the work and you get a D, then you'll always have an opportunity to redo the assignment and get a better grade. Anything is better than a zero, but you always have the opportunity to redo the assignment, except for when you just decide not to do the work. You don't get the opportunity to redo the assignment. But if you do your work and you're not satisfied with the grade, then you'll always have the opportunity to redo it. And I always take the highest grade. So if you redo your assignment and for some strange reason your grade is lower than your first attempt, then I will keep the higher grade, which would be the first attempt. That's two ways for you to fail the course. The final way for you to fail the course is, you guessed it, the third and final way is to not do the work. Let's put it this way, guys. If you do the work, you absolutely will pass the course. There's no way you can fail the course whatsoever. You will pass the course. So just decide to do the assignments, get your work in on time, and I can guarantee you, almost guarantee you, that you will pass the course. All right. So that's your grading. The assignments are, we have a couple of assignments here. Your first major writing assignment will be a 500-word summary. Your second major writing assignment will be a 750-word expanded definition. Your third major writing assignment will be a 1,500 to 2,000 word instructional or training manual. And of course, your fourth will be a 1,500 to 2,000 word formal product or service proposal. And then your final three-part collaborative assignment or final project will include: one, you are collaborating on a 7 to 10-minute oral presentation to sell a product or service. Then you will collaborate to create a website advertising this product or service. This is the part that will be done, or the portion that will be done in Open Lab. And then finally, you are collaborating on a final report on your final project. That promises to be exciting. It promises to be a really great assignment. Most students really enjoy it. And then, of course, you'll have daily writing for each class assignment. For each class student, you'll be given daily writing, such as discussion boards, blogs, or wikis. The writing will vary, so you will not get bored. And of course, class participation is 10%. Now, this syllabus, I would encourage you to read the syllabus, get to know it, because not knowing what the syllabus contains is no excuse. Um, all the instructions and policies and procedures for the course are housed in the syllabus, and you can find answers to most of the questions that you would ask. For example, students often ask me, what's the percentage of each assignment? Well, it's right there in the syllabus. You can see on the right-hand corner, in the right-hand column. All right. Now, the required format for your papers, that's very important. It's the APA format. We use the APA format in this class. It's the professional writing style. Your writing should always include a name block, very important, a name block, a title, and then your writing. If you want to put a cover page, that's even better. But I require a name block. I must see your name with the date, with the assignment, with the professor who has assigned you the work, which would be me. And then, of course, you must have the title. Okay. You should use citations, and when you quote or cite writing by others, it should be properly cited and included as an entry on a concluding works cited or bibliography. You don't have to search. I had put search Google for Purdue all APA guidelines and sample papers. You don't have to put that. You don't have to search for that. It's at the top of the syllabus. It's also in the course shell. Now, late paper policy, major essays, guys, and all other writing assignments are due 11:59 on the due date, whether it's a Wednesday or a Sunday. It's due 11:59. You won't find me asking you to give in your assignments earlier than that. If you're having difficulty completing your assignments, guys, you need to contact the professor because uh, points will be assessed for lateness. As I was telling you earlier, there is a revision policy. In this course, you can and will revise all your major assignments. If your new grade is higher, it will entirely replace your old grade. But if your new grade is not higher, I will keep the old grade. Please come see me during office hours if you're confused about any comments I make on your assignments. All right. Or shoot me an email. I'm pretty good with emails. And I can have a great conversation with you with emails. Sorry about that. So there are a few policies that I want you to go over. You take your time to read them. Accessibility statement. But I want to also talk about plagiarism and academic integrity. I do have, we do have an understanding that students sometimes will find the work difficult, but that is no reason for there to be cheating. We expect you to maintain full academic integrity. And that includes and is not limited to plagiarism. Do not plagiarize people's work. If a student does his assignment or her assignment or their assignment, do not plagiarize the work. Plagiarism means passing off work or writing that is for yours, writing that is not yours, passing it off as if you are the author. And it refers to not only writing, but to any other type of work. Please maintain your integrity. Also, I expect that you will be doing research far and wide. One thing I do not want you to do, and I'm asking and putting it forward, do not write your essays with ChatGTP and think that I will not find out. I will find out. I will know exactly when it's written by ChatGTP. And we do have software to check to see. And I know there's software that can mask or you think can mask. But if I find out that that is done, we're going to have that conversation. Now, academic integrity is very serious. It can result breach of the academic integrity policy can result in suspension. It can result in loss of grades, suspension from the class, suspension from the campus. It can also result in expulsion from the campus. And I really don't want anyone to do that. My aim is that each one of you will pass the course and each one of you will go on to graduate. I want you to have successful lives. So this course is not difficult. I'm not trying to put roadblocks in place. I'm just trying to let you know what the university policies are. Of course, we have a diversity policy. You can read through it. Um, Effectively, though, this is a course where all are accepted, despite your political affiliation, your gender identity, your ethnic identity, your sexual orientation, wherever you're from, you are welcome in this class. As long as it does not infringe upon the rights of each person to have a safe environment to learn in. And that's what we want to create in this class, a safe learning environment. Of course, there are some resources here, the College Writing Center. Link to the center. You need writing help. You should always use it. Always check with your advisors. And then there's a tentative schedule for the course. Now, I say tentative because based on the days that we have, the holidays that we might have, or how well the class is working, the schedule can be adjusted. Now, that's a quick review of the syllabus itself. And I wanted to take the time now to just talk to you a little bit about the introduction of the syllabus itself that talks about, uh, that gives you the course description. And the course description reads, technical writing is about managing complexity. And I want you to think of that word, complexity. What does it mean to be complex? When something is complex, what does it mean? Well, complex in its simplest form means that there are multiple components to a given issue, a project, or a piece of equipment. There are multiple pieces to it. Complex can be something that is complex can be difficult, or something that is complex can be easy. Let me give you a quick example. If you look at a jigsaw puzzle, how many of you did jigsaw puzzles when you were younger? Well, I loved doing jigsaw puzzles. I still do, but I don't get around to doing it that much. I tried to do it with my 7-year-old the other day, and she outdid me on the jigsaw puzzle. But if you look at a jigsaw puzzle, you have easy jigsaw puzzles and you have hard or difficult jigsaw puzzles. You have jigsaw puzzles with 20 odd pieces. You have jigsaw puzzles with 2,500 pieces. One is difficult, one is easy. One is simple, one is not so simple. Both are complex because both have multiple components or pieces to them that go together to make the whole. So technical writing is about managing complexity. So it means that the technical writing is about managing different components in writing, or better yet, different components in communication. So the course description that I've put together points out that it's about providing the right information in the right way for the right audience. Now, there's another description that really stands out, providing the right information in the right way for the right audience. And you're going to find that audience is most important in this course. So, what do I mean by providing the right information? Well, you certainly don't want to provide the wrong information to folks. You want to know that if I'm teaching a technical writing class, I do not come into the class and begin to teach math. I'm providing the wrong information if I started to teach math. But it goes a little further than that. It speaks to not only providing the right information, it's about providing the right information in the right way. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes your information needs to be provided in different ways. Maybe today, as in now, I'm providing information to you through a lecture, and I'm just doing a simple review of what the course is about. I'm speaking to you, and I'm going through a document, and it's on video recorded. It's on Zoom. I'm providing the right information, which is about technical writing, to you in the right way via video conference so that you can get the information. If I did not do this, you would not be able to get this information. I would have to transcribe it and write a long document and send it to you for you to read through. And that might not necessarily be the right way. And then to the right audience. An audience is all important. When writing, you have to think about who are you writing for? So let me give you an example. I know that many of you might come from the Middle East, or you might be from South or Central America, from the Caribbean, from Africa or Asia. Think about this, guys. If you're writing an instructional manual for uh, the population in Afghanistan, and I believe, what do we speak in Afghanistan? Farsi? I don't quite remember. But if I write that instructional manual in Swahili, which is a language in South Africa, would that be useful for those people in Afghanistan? I don't think so, because they would not be able to understand it. Mark you, the information that I gave would have been the right information because I would have written the instructions about something that they needed instructions for, and I would make sure that the information is correct. But guess what? The information wasn't packaged in the right way. And it certainly didn't go to the right audience. So thinking about how you write and who you write for is very, very important. That's a part of managing the complexity. You have to think about how do you package your information, making sure it's packaged in the right way, making sure it's the right information, making sure it goes to the right audience. And that is key, guys. That's managing complexity. There are different components there, but it becomes even more complex, not more difficult, you know. There are just more pieces. Excuse me 1 minute. There are just more pieces, as I was saying. It is about communicating technical ideas using sound rhetorical choices and synergistic modalities. So there are more components to this whole idea of technical writing and technical communication. By the way, what does technical even mean? Does technical mean that something is difficult, hard to do? Lots of people think that that's the meaning. And while it may imply that, that's not necessarily what it means. Technical means that it is specific to a particular subject, area, art, or craft, or ability. So, if you're talking about computer science, you're going to use technical language. That is language that refers to computer science. If you're talking about electrical engineering, you're not going to use language that refers to the medical industry or is used by the medical industry. You're going to use language that electricians use. And you can all know people who are not necessarily experts in your field. When you speak to them, they don't use the same jargons that you use, or they don't understand what you mean when you use certain words that are in your area. That's what technical communication is. It is subject specific. So, guess what? In this class, if you're a CST student, you're going to learn how to communicate effectively as a CST professional by using the language of CST professionals. And of course, you're going to integrate it with your total language, but you're going to be able to use the jargons, the words, the ideas of CST. If you are an electrical engineer, you're going to learn to communicate within that area. So that's what technical means. So then you're using technical ideas using sound rhetorical choices. Well, you're communicating technical ideas using sound rhetorical choices. What does sound rhetorical choices mean? What does rhetorical mean? Does anybody want to help me with that? Um, well, there is nobody on now to drop it in the chat. Rhetoric is the art of persuasive speaking and or writing. And this means that you are going to be using a variety of genres of writing. You're going to choose what's the most appropriate rhetorical modality to use. And you're going to use synergistic modalities. That means synergistic means working together. So sometimes your rhetorical situation demands or requires that you write. Sometimes it requires that you speak. Other times it requires that you create visual cues, or you might need to use an electronic modality, or maybe even a nonverbal modality. 80% of your communication, by the way, is nonverbal. So if I came into the course and I started by talking to you saying, oh boy, technical writing is a course that we don't really like, or technical writing is a course that you might not like. I'm giving you nonverbal cues by holding down my head. And that means that I lack confidence, but I'm also a speaker who most people would think is boring. Well, you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to have an exciting class or an exciting conversation. So you're going to use whatever modality works best. You're going to look at the rhetorical situation and decide what do you need to use. And I have an acronym. We have an acronym for that. It's called WOVEN. WOVEN. Let me show it to you. WOVEN, woven right here. If I can get my, here it is, woven. And it includes all of this right here. Woven, written, oral, visual, electronic, and non-verbal. Now, technical writing also involves technical communication that depends on professionalism and ethical considerations. So in this class, you're going to learn and practice all of these things as well as gain advice about how to leverage what you know to excel in your career. And what do I mean by that? Well, in 2007, 2005, I think, or 2007, businesses spent over $3 billion in the United States. $5 billion, I'm sorry, in the United States. $1 billion on remedial writing. Think about that. They had to spend all this money because their employees did not know how to write. If you understand how to write a memo or how to write a good proposal, and I do not, and we show up for a job, who do you think is going to get the job? Of course, you're going to get the job because you have the skills that I don't. Employers like to see these things because it means that you bring something to the table that will help to improve the company. If you know how to write an instructional manual, or how to write a good memo, or how to summarize information quick and easily, if you can stand up and give a presentation, companies like this. And that's what technical writing equips you to do. It equips you to not only be successful in school, but to also be successful in your careers, to go out and dominate your field as an effective communicator. So, technical writing has many benefits, and most importantly, it equips you for a career in whatever field you go into by preparing you to effectively communicate in a professional environment. Finally, speaking of professional, one of the things about technical writing is that it helps you to communicate professionally. What do I mean by that? Well, if you were talking to your mother, would you speak to her the same way that you speak to your classmates or your friends? I don't think so. And why would you do that? Well, more than likely because the relationships are different. Would you speak to the professor the same way you speak to your best friend? More than likely not, because the relationships are different. I wouldn't speak to the president of the university the same way I speak to the chair of my department. Why? Because our relationships are different. Understanding the rhetorical situation determines how you communicate. And in a professional setting, one has to be able to communicate professionally. And you can only do that if you understand what professional communication is. So, in this lecture, we went through a number of things. We did an introduction. I walked you through how to navigate the course. I also walked you through the syllabus. And now I've walked you through the introduction to the syllabus and introduction to the course itself. And we understand that technical writing is about professional communication in workplace in a technical framework, and it is about providing the right information in the right way to the right people. Now, finally, we're going to take a look at what exactly we did last week. And that won't take much time. We look at that very quickly and just talk about it briefly. And then in my next lecture, we'll talk about what we're doing this week. In fact, you know what? We'll just quickly talk about what we're doing this week. No, I think I'll leave it to my next lecture, which is right after this. It will be posted shortly after this one. All right? So here's our, let me get rid of this and close here. Excellent. All right. So here's our course. We're in our course and we want to go into week one. And week one, you had to send, well, as I said, each week you jump into your week. And as you begin the course, there is an introduction to the work that you have to do. And you had 5 things to complete: review the writing criteria, participate in the introductory lecture, complete the required readings, then send me an introductory email and complete the discussion. So your introductory email, of course, I went over this already, but let me just go over this again. Your introductory email required a couple of things. You had to ensure that the subject line of your email was written exactly as follows: first and last name, student introduction. So for example, my email, if I was sending it, would have read RT Richards, student introduction. If you don't send it that way, I can't find your email because it goes to a specific email box. Before you wrote the email, though, you had to read this article. And this article actually tells you how to write an email to your professor or send an email to your professor. You also had to read what exactly is technical writing, and you would just click on this link to open it. And there you would have what is technical writing. And you'd read these 2 articles: what is technical communication and a brief history of technical communication. And then you had your discussion board, which you had to complete. And of course, this was an introduction to yourself. And you had to be sure to give one thing about yourself that no one would know about. It's very important that you read instructions. And then you had to answer these 4 prompts. Based on this week's readings, all the readings that were there that you read, what do you understand technical communications to be? Then reflect on why you are taking this course and how you think it will benefit you. And explain the difference between a personal and professional email. Remember, we were just talking about how we communicate with people of different relationships. Well, you have personal and you have professional life. What's the difference in the communication there? And then, of course, you have to respond to 2 of your peers. You had to respond to 2 of your peers by the 2nd of February. That was yesterday. So that's our lecture for today. Again, we looked at an introduction to the course. I introduced myself also. We looked at the syllabus. We went through the syllabus. We looked at the course description. And then, of course, we looked at week 1 of this course. The next lecture, we'll look at week 2, and we'll talk a little bit about your first major writing assignment. Thank you very much, guys. Hope this helped, and I will see you in the next lecture. God bless. Bye-bye now.